Imagine waking up on a rainy Monday morning. Your inbox is overflowing with unread emails. Your phone is buzzing with notifications. Deadlines are looming. Your boss just scheduled an unexpected meeting. And to top it off, you spill coffee on your shirt 5 minutes before leaving for work. For most people, this is the beginning of a stressful, anxiety-filled day. The mind spirals, the heart races, small problems snowball into emotional chaos. But now, imagine another version of you. One who takes a deep breath, wipes the coffee, shrugs off the frustration, steps outside, and moves through the day with calm, focus, and quiet inner strength. What if you could train your mind to stay unshaken, no matter what life throws at you? This isn't some motivational fantasy. This is exactly what the ancient Stoic philosophers mastered over 2,000 years ago. People like Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, Epictetus, a former slave turned philosopher, and Seneca, a powerful statesman who stared death in the face with complete composure. They didn't live in peaceful times. They lived during wars, plagues, betrayals, political chaos. Yet they maintained mental peace when everything around them fell apart. So today, in this video, you're going to discover 10 brutally honest, emotionally powerful lessons from Stoicism that will help you stay calm, focused, and emotionally unbreakable, even in your worst moments. By the end, you'll walk away with mindset tools that most people in today's anxious, stressed-out world will never learn. Let's begin. Lesson number 1. Master the dichotomy of control. If there's one single Stoic principle that can change your life overnight, it's this one. Focus only on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Sounds simple, right? But think about your own life for a second. How much mental energy do you waste worrying about things that are 100% outside your control? The weather, the stock market, what your boss thinks of you, whether someone replies to your text, the political climate, the traffic, your past mistakes. We get emotionally tangled in these things every single day. And every time we do, we give away our peace. Epictetus, one of the most famous Stoic teachers, called this mental trap self-imposed suffering. He taught that in life, everything falls into 2 categories. Category 1, things under your control, like your thoughts, actions, reactions, and decisions. Category 2, everything else. Other people's opinions, random events, outcomes, accidents, external circumstances. And here's the key, Stoic truth. You only have responsibility for Category 1. Everything else, you must learn to let go. Think about an archer. He trains for years to perfect his aim. He draws the bowstring with steady hands. He focuses, he breathes, he releases. But once that arrow leaves the bow, the wind might change. Someone might step in its path. The target might move. The Stoic archer knows. He controls the aim, not the outcome. Apply this to your life. You control how hard you work, how you respond to people, whether you show up with discipline, whether you speak kindly, whether you act with courage. But you don't control whether you get the job, whether someone loves you back, whether people recognize your effort. The more you try to control the uncontrollable, the more anxiety and frustration you create. The Stoic solution: start every day with this question. What is in my control today? And what isn't? Then, act with full effort on what you control, and release all emotional attachment to the rest. Let go of the outcome. This one mental shift alone can instantly reduce your stress by half. You'll find yourself becoming calmer, less reactive, more centered. And slowly, life's chaos won't shake you like it used to. You'll still face challenges, yes, but your mind will become untouchable. That is the power of mastering the dichotomy of control. Lesson number 2, the power of acceptance. Now, once you've learned to focus only on what you can control, the next Stoic superpower is acceptance, not passive giving up. Not becoming emotionless, but active, conscious acceptance of reality as it is. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and one of history's most respected Stoic thinkers, wrote in his journal, what we now know as meditations, that suffering often doesn't come from external events. It comes from our refusal to accept them. Life will throw storms at you. People will betray you. Plans will fail. Loved ones will disappoint you. You'll get sick. You'll lose things you value. But here's the brutal truth, Marcus kept reminding himself. You don't control the external world. You only control your response to it. When something bad happens, most people waste mental energy thinking, "Why me? This shouldn't have happened. It's not fair." But the Stoic response is different. It sounds like this: "It happened. I may not like it, but it's reality. Now, how do I choose to respond?" Acceptance isn't about being okay with pain. It's about recognizing that resisting reality only multiplies your suffering. Imagine being caught in a sudden rainstorm without an umbrella. You have two choices: stand there getting wet, cursing the weather, getting angry at the sky, or start walking calmly, smile at the absurdity, and enjoy the feeling of rain on your skin, knowing that you'll dry off soon enough. The rain will fall either way. Your reaction is the only variable. That's Stoic acceptance. Marcus Aurelius called it amor fati, love of fate. It doesn't mean you love the pain. It means you embrace life fully, including the hard parts, trusting that every experience, even the painful ones, can help shape your character. So next time life punches you in the face, pause, breathe, and say, "I accept this moment as it is. Now, what's my next best action?" That small mental shift. It's how you build emotional armor. Lesson number 3, practice mindfulness, Stoic style. When you hear the word mindfulness, you probably think of meditation apps, breathing exercises, or sitting cross-legged with your eyes closed. But Stoic mindfulness? It's something deeper. Seneca, another giant of Stoic philosophy, didn't sit around with incense and chanting mantras. His version of mindfulness was simple but powerful. Be fully present, always. Seneca warned against two mental habits that destroy inner peace: living in the past, endlessly replaying old mistakes, regrets, things you wish you'd done differently, worrying about the future, imagining worst-case scenarios, stressing about things that haven't even happened yet. He called this constant time traveling of the mind self-inflicted torture. Stoic mindfulness means anchoring yourself in now, this moment, this breath, this action. If you're eating, focus on eating. If you're talking to someone, be fully there. If you're walking, just walk. Sounds easy, but ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you did just one thing at a time with full attention? Stoics weren't against planning for the future or learning from the past, but they knew worrying about what's gone or obsessing over what might come is the fastest way to lose your peace. Seneca put it perfectly: we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Modern science backs this up. Studies show that people who stay present, whether they're working, resting, or even doing something unpleasant, report higher happiness levels than people whose minds constantly wander. So how do you practice Stoic mindfulness in daily life? It starts with awareness. When you catch your mind spiraling about something that hasn't happened, pause, take a deep breath, bring yourself back to the task at hand. If you're in the middle of a stressful meeting, don't drift into anxiety about tomorrow's deadlines. Focus on the conversation happening right now. If you're enjoying coffee, don't mentally scroll through your to-do list. Taste the coffee, feel the warmth. These small, conscious moments, they build mental discipline over time. Seneca believed that by mastering our attention, we reclaim control over our inner state. And when you own your attention, you're no longer a victim of external chaos. You become grounded, calm, unshakable. This isn't some fluffy self-help advice. It's real psychological training. And the Stoics practiced it centuries before modern science gave it a name. So from today, catch your mind when it wanders, pull it back, and engage fully with the life happening right in front of you. That's Stoic mindfulness. Lesson number 4, cultivate resilience. Life will knock you down. That's not a question of if, it's a question of when. Job loss, breakups, illness, financial setbacks, unexpected tragedies. The Stoics never promised a life free from pain. In fact, they warned us again and again, suffering is inevitable. But here's what sets Stoicism apart. It's not about avoiding the punches life throws. It's about training your mind to take the hit and then get back up, stronger, Epictetus, who spent the early part of his life as a slave, understood hardship better than most philosophers. His entire philosophy on resilience can be summed up in this: it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. You can't control the economy crashing. You can't control someone walking out of your life. You can't control sudden illness or betrayal, but you can control your mindset. Epictetus believed that every challenge is a chance to build inner strength. Hardships aren't roadblocks, they're training grounds. Imagine a blacksmith forging steel. The steel doesn't get stronger by lying still. It gets stronger by going through fire, again and again. Your mind works the same way. When adversity hits, you have two choices: collapse, complain, and let it break you, or face it head on, learn, adapt, and grow tougher. Resilience doesn't mean pretending things are fine when they're not. It means acknowledging the pain, feeling it fully, and still choosing to stand up, take action, and move forward. Epictetus even recommended mentally rehearsing worst-case scenarios, not to live in fear, but to prepare your mind. It's called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. It's the Stoic version of mental armor. For example, if you're starting a business, instead of blindly hoping everything goes perfect, you visualize possible setbacks, late payments, market downturns, bad clients. Then you ask yourself, if that happens, will I still choose to persist? Will I still choose my values over panic? This builds mental calluses long before real life tests you, so next time life knocks you down, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can I use this to become stronger? Because to the Stoics, every struggle, every heartbreak, every failure is just one more chance to train your resilience. Lesson number 5, choose your response. Here's one of the most liberating truths Stoicism will teach you. You always have a choice, even when it feels like you don't. We often say things like, he made me angry. That situation stressed me out. They ruined my day. But Epictetus would stop you right there and say, no one can make you feel anything. Your reactions are yours alone. You can't control what others do, but you can control whether you react with anger, frustration, or calm. Think about it. Two people stuck in the same traffic jam. One bangs on the steering wheel, screaming at other drivers. The other turns on music, accepts the situation, and arrives home with a calm mind. Same external event. Two completely different internal realities. Why? Because one person chose their response. The other let the situation choose for them. Epictetus taught that there's a gap, a small, precious gap between what happens and how we respond. Most people never pause in that gap. They react instantly, emotionally, impulsively. But Stoicism invites you to do something revolutionary. Pause, reflect, then choose. When someone insults you, pause. Ask yourself, is their opinion really worth my peace? When plans go wrong, pause. Ask, is frustration going to help me fix this? Or can I respond with clarity? This doesn't mean bottling up your feelings or becoming emotionally numb. It means choosing your emotional response with intention, not letting external triggers pull your strings like a puppet. You become the master of your reactions. This practice is like a muscle. At first, it's hard. You'll still snap, still get annoyed, still react impulsively sometimes. But over time, with awareness, with practice, you build emotional strength. And slowly, you stop giving small, meaningless things the power to ruin your day. That's true Stoic power. It's the freedom that comes when you realize, my peace is not for sale. So next time life tests you, when someone cuts you off in traffic, when your friend forgets your birthday, when technology fails you mid-project, pause, breathe, and remember, you always have a choice. Lesson number 6, limit excessive desires. Let's talk about something that silently eats away at our inner peace every single day. Excessive desires, wanting more money, more followers, more likes, more attention, more recognition, more luxury, more. Seneca, one of the wisest Stoic philosophers, warned us against this trap over 2,000 years ago. He said, It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor. Let that sink in. It's not your current bank balance, your social status, or your possessions that make you feel restless and unsatisfied. It's your uncontrolled hunger for more. Modern society constantly fuels this. Open Instagram, scroll through TikTok, browse YouTube, and you're bombarded with images of people richer, fitter, more successful, appearing to live perfect lives. And suddenly, what you already have feels small, meaningless, not enough. That's how comparison triggers desire, and excessive desire creates anxiety, jealousy, greed, and even depression. But Stoicism offers an antidote. Seneca taught the value of voluntary simplicity. It doesn't mean living like a monk or giving up ambition. It means being intentional about your wants and questioning them. Before chasing something, ask yourself, do I truly need this? Or is this just my ego talking? Wanting financial security is fine, but craving luxury for the sake of status? That's a path to endless dissatisfaction. Wanting love and connection is natural, but obsessing over validation from strangers online? That's emotional self-sabotage. The Stoics practiced mental fasting from desires. Seneca often reminded himself of how little he actually needed to live well. In fact, he would occasionally intentionally live with less, eating simple meals, sleeping on the floor, wearing basic clothes, not because he had to, but because he wanted to remind himself, if I lost everything tomorrow, I'd still be fine. This isn't about punishing yourself. It's about building mental freedom, because when you realize how little you actually need, you stop being controlled by external things. You stop living in fear of loss. You stop letting your happiness depend on whether you get the next promotion, or the next gadget, or the next compliment. And in that space, you discover a calm that money, followers, and luxury can never buy. So, next time you catch yourself obsessing over something you want, pause and ask, is this desire bringing me peace or stealing it? That's the Stoic way to freedom. Lesson 7. Be virtuous. If you strip away all the complex language, all the philosophical jargon, Stoicism really comes down to one thing: live with virtue. That's it. Everything else, control, acceptance, resilience, mindfulness, they're just tools to help you live a virtuous life. But what does virtue actually mean? In Stoic philosophy, it's not about following religious rules or being morally perfect. It's about consistently choosing character over comfort. The 4 main Stoic virtues are wisdom, courage, justice, temperance. Let's break them down in real modern terms. Wisdom, making decisions based on reason, not impulse. Asking yourself, what's the smartest, most thoughtful way to handle this situation? It's thinking long-term, not short-term pleasure. Courage, doing what's right, even when it's scary, uncomfortable, or risky. Speaking up when you see something wrong. Standing by your values when it's unpopular. Pushing through fear when your comfort zone screams, stay here. Justice, being fair, treating people with dignity, even those who can't do anything for you. It's not just about following laws. It's about doing what's ethically right, even when no one's watching. Temperance, self-control, knowing when to say no, when to stop scrolling, when to stop eating, when to hold back that angry reply. It's the art of balance in every area of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Simple, but powerful. Living with virtue won't always make life easier. In fact, sometimes it'll make things harder in the short term, turning down easy money because it's unethical, walking away from toxic people even when you're lonely, admitting your mistakes even when your ego fights it. But here's the Stoic promise. A virtuous life leads to inner peace that no amount of external success can buy. When you live in alignment with your values, when your actions match your principles, when you can look in the mirror and say, I showed up today with integrity. That's where real calm comes from. Not from likes, not from praise, not from paychecks, but from character. The Stoics believed that at the end of your life, whether you were rich or poor, famous or unknown, the only real question that'll matter is, did I live with virtue? So, As you move through your day, before you act, before you speak, ask yourself, is this aligned with my values? Am I choosing virtue right now? Because true Stoic peace is the byproduct of a life lived with honor. Lesson number 8. Understand the transitory nature of life. Here's a truth most people avoid. Everything you love, everything you hate, everything you're attached to will eventually change or end. Sounds harsh. Maybe. But for the Stoics, this wasn't a reason for sadness. It was a reason to live more fully, more presently, and with more gratitude. Marcus Aurelius, sitting alone in his Roman palace, writing in his personal journal, often reminded himself, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This wasn't morbid obsession with death. It was clarity. Understanding that life is impermanent makes every moment more precious. The Stoics called this awareness memento mori. Remember, you must die. Before you scroll away thinking this is depressing, pause. Because here's the real gift behind this mindset. When you truly accept the temporary nature of everything, you stop wasting time on things that don't matter. That petty argument? Is it worth ruining your day when you might not even have tomorrow? That grudge you're holding, does it really deserve space in your heart when life is this short? That dream you keep postponing, what exactly are you waiting for? Stoicism teaches us that nothing is guaranteed. Not tomorrow, not your health, not the people you love, not your career, not even your next breath. But instead of living in fear, you live with urgency, presence, and appreciation. When you hug your family, when you watch a sunset, when you sip coffee on a cold morning, when you laugh with friends, you soak it in fully, knowing this too will pass. The Stoics weren't telling you to fear death. They were telling you to fear a life wasted on meaningless distractions. So, next time you find yourself scrolling mindlessly or getting stuck in trivial worries, pause, take a deep breath, and remind yourself, this moment will never come again. Live it well. That's the power of understanding life's transitory nature. It turns every ordinary day into something extraordinary. Lesson number 9. The value of gratitude. Let's be honest. In today's world, it's easy to fall into the trap of negativity. We compare, we complain, we focus on what's missing, what's wrong, what's unfair. But here's what the Stoics knew long before social media made us all feel inadequate. Gratitude is a superpower for inner peace. Seneca, in many of his letters, wrote about the importance of recognizing the good in your life, not just when things go right, but especially when they don't. He reminded us that true happiness doesn't come from getting more. It comes from appreciating what you already have. Think about this. You woke up this morning. You can breathe. You have access to food. You're able to listen, learn, and grow. Things we take for granted would be seen as luxuries by millions of people even today. Seneca often wrote about mentally rehearsing loss, not to make yourself sad, but to sharpen your gratitude. For example, imagine waking up tomorrow and losing your voice, or your eyesight, or your closest friend. Suddenly, the things you overlook become priceless. The Stoics practiced this mindset daily, not to live in fear, but to train their minds to appreciate what's already here. Even during suffering, they found reasons to be grateful, because gratitude shifts your focus. Instead of dwelling on problems, you start noticing small moments of joy, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the comfort of clean water, the laugh of a loved one, the feeling of progress after hard work. Modern science now confirms what the Stoics already knew. Regular gratitude practice rewires your brain, reduces stress, improves sleep, and increases overall happiness. So how do you apply this lesson? Starting today, here's a simple Stoic exercise. Every night, before bed, write down 3 things you're grateful for. Big or small, profound or ordinary. Doesn't matter. Just pause, reflect, and feel the gratitude. You'll notice something amazing. Your mindset starts shifting. You become less reactive, less entitled, less negative, and slowly, You build a life where contentment isn't tied to external circumstances, but grows from within. Seneca summed it up best. No one is more miserable than the person who is always looking for more, but no one is richer than the person who is grateful for what they already have. So, if you want instant inner peace, start here. Start with gratitude. Lesson number 10. Keep learning and growing. We've talked about controlling your reactions, accepting reality, practicing mindfulness, building resilience, limiting desires, choosing virtue, embracing impermanence, and cultivating gratitude. But there's one final Stoic lesson that ties everything together, a lesson that keeps your mind sharp, your spirit growing, and your character evolving. Lifelong learning and growth. Epictetus said it best, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And how do you master yourself? By constantly learning, constantly reflecting, constantly improving. The Stoics didn't see philosophy as something you studied once and moved on from. They saw it as a daily practice. Every morning, every evening, they reflected on their behavior, their decisions, their emotional triggers, and their character. Marcus Aurelius journaled almost every day, not for anyone else, but to hold himself accountable, to check in. Was I wise today? Was I just? Did I act with courage? Did I show temperance? Stoicism is not a destination, it's a journey, a lifelong, never-ending process of becoming just a little better, a little calmer, a little stronger, every single day. You don't wake up one morning and suddenly become emotionally unbreakable. You build that brick by brick, moment by moment, through conscious effort. That means reading, listening, thinking, and most importantly, applying. Learning Stoicism isn't about memorizing fancy quotes from Marcus Aurelius or Seneca. It's about integrating these principles into your daily life. When someone cuts you off in traffic, when your plans get canceled last minute, when you lose something important, when someone insults you, that's when your real Stoic training is tested. And when you mess up, and you will mess up, you reflect, you learn, and you try again. Growth isn't linear. Some days you'll feel like you're on top of the world. Other days you'll fall flat on your face. But that's okay, because as long as you keep learning, keep adjusting, keep showing up for yourself, you're walking the Stoic path. Epictetus encouraged his students to approach life like a committed athlete training for the Olympics. Daily discipline, daily practice, no shortcuts. He believed that wisdom wasn't something you stumbled upon. It was something you earned through consistent mental work. So as you finish this video, ask yourself, how can I become 1% more stoic today? How can I respond better next time stress hits? How can I stay mindful when things go wrong? What small action can I take today to build my inner fortress? Because that's the heart of Stoicism. Small daily choices, stacked over time, that transform you from the inside out. The journey won't be perfect, but it will be worth it. So, here you are. You've made it through 10 of the most powerful Stoic lessons on how to stay calm and emotionally unshakable in the face of life's chaos. Let's quickly recap. Master the dichotomy of control. Embrace acceptance practice. Stoic mindfulness. Cultivate resilience. Choose your response limit. Excessive desires live with virtue. Understand the transitory nature of life. Practice daily gratitude. Commit to lifelong learning and growth. But here's the thing. Knowledge alone means nothing unless you apply it. So before you close this video, pause. Think about one lesson from today. Just one that you're going to actively practice over the next 24 hours. It doesn't have to be huge. Maybe you'll pause before reacting angrily. Maybe you'll write down 3 things you're grateful for tonight. Maybe you'll take a deep breath and accept something you can't change. Maybe you'll read a single page from Meditations. Whatever it is, commit to it. And if you're ready to go even deeper into this journey of Stoic self-mastery, hit that like button, click subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Here on Mind Sprint, we're building a community of thinkers, seekers, and people committed to emotional growth. And before you go, tell me in the comments, which of today's 10 Stoic lessons hit you the hardest? Was it resilience? Was it gratitude? Was it the power of choice? Your answer might just inspire someone else watching. And remember, the world outside may remain chaotic, but your mind, that's your kingdom, and you are its ruler. Stay calm, stay strong, stay stoic.